Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Solutions Brewing Podcast. I'm Brendan, and I'm joined by Steve and Rob. And I kind of just jumped into this without telling them, so I'm looking at a few smirks here.
I kind of like how we actually start doing that now instead of like fighting over who's going to do it. Someone just does it.
Yeah. Well, see, like I put up my hand to do the count off so we could like get lined up and all that, make it easy for Rob, but no.
I'm sure we'd be fine. I got 2 recordings, and if one of them works, it actually records all of our voices at one time, so I don't actually have to mess around with that.
Well, last time we did the in-person recording, so I completely forgot about the whole sync up. We could do it now, but
No, we didn't need to sync up with the in-person one because I just used the one that has all of our voices at the same time. So just goes.
Yeah, it's more of like we have the backups just in case one of our audios gets garbled or something happens. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case. Anyways, Brendan, what are we talking about this week?
I don't know. I was just going to ask you the same thing. You guys did an event here over the past weekend that I missed, so I wouldn't mind hearing about that. ZooBrew or something like that.
The ZooBrew. So yeah,
what is ZooBrew? You were serving to the animals, or
yes,
the animals.
Man, you should have seen. Have you ever seen a drunk otter before? Insane.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
But yeah, it's an adult-only night that happens with the Calgary Zoo. So they close down the park a little bit early and set up tables in various areas around the park that then people are led through. And it's kind of like, well, we didn't get to see the rest of it because we were in our section, and then they're like, you're done, go. And we were so exhausted, we wanted to go. But participants can continue wandering the park as more and more stations are set up around the area. And eventually it ends like 11 o'clock. So based on what we saw, there were going to be a few tipsy people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you guys had the early setup, right? You were 5 to 8 or something like that?
Yeah. And it was kind of neat because I've seen it before, and I've never put in my mind where it actually was. So between the zoo entrance and the science center entrance, there's this basic gravel road, access road sort of thing. And that takes you all around the big zoo parking to the back of basically the Canadian wilds where the polar bears are. Mm-hmm. So then there's a couple, it's all security and fence and all that kind of stuff. But there's a parking lot there. And then from there, you can basically access, it comes out after a little short walk by the muskox. Yeah. So basically you come up by the muskox by the gift shop. And so right there on the lawn, right beside the otter enclosure, there was our table with 3 other breweries, or breweries, distilleries. And
there's 1 distillery, 2 other breweries, and then us, because there were 4 of us. And then there was a food vendor.
A food vendor, and then there was a game area that was being run by volunteers. So in our area, there was Hard Knocks Brewing out of Diamond Valley. There was New Distillery out of Calgary. I think they're out of Calgary.
And that's spelled GNU, by the way.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've had their stuff. It's actually quite nice.
And who was the last one? Bow River Brewing out of Calgary as well.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. So we kind of showed up and a little late because we had to print everything off. And I was a little late coming home from work, so we had to like get loaded and get everything in there. And I dropped some beers, and I still have a fairly sizable wound on my hand. You can see it in the video there.
We'll show up perfect for the podcast.
Yeah, we'll show up for the podcast. As a 4-pack took a chunk out of my arm. I lost 9 beers to that incident. But yeah, we get there and we get loaded in, and we get some ice, and we didn't know what was coming. We didn't know. Oh my gosh,
yeah, what a surprise. So we were warned that there were going to be, they said they had about 1,500 people. That's how many tickets they had sold or whatever, so 1,500. So, we do our thing. We're like, okay, well, we've done like Calgary Beerfest, Edmonton Beerfest, and they give us numbers.
4,000 to 5,000 people at the show tonight, sort of thing, or for the session.
Yeah, whatever, right? So we've seen higher numbers, so more people. And we're like, well, okay, we usually for those we go through X number of cases, right? And
then the Jasper Beerfest is one of the free pour ones, and we've done that one.
Yeah, so we have an example of that one too. So we're like, okay, we should have an idea of how many beers we need. And then we're like, hey, we'll do that. Plus, we'll bring a little extra because it's outside, it's hot. People might want a little bit more.
So, I just before you get into this, Rob, here, I want to apologize because under the assumption I thought we were bringing too much, and I told both you guys, I'm like, guys, it's only 1,500 people. It's not going to be that bad. Like, we're going to have so much straighties left over. And I was wrong. I'm flat out saying I was so wrong.
So never question us again, Steve.
I will never question you again. When it comes specifically to the consumption rate at ZooBrews.
We brought 5 different beers, and we're like, if we bring like 3 of each, that should be more than enough because that's 15, right? 3 times 5 is 15 cases.
Yeah, and we were short 1 just because we had the return order, so we only had 2 of missing piece, so we only had 14 cases.
Yeah, so we were 14, and then when we had it all loaded in the car, and we were carrying it all out to our area, Steve and I, and we're like, man, it's hot outside. We only have 3 coolers. We brought 3 coolers, and we filled them all with beer and ice, and we're like, okay, we've got a couple extra cases. Like we had 3 cases sitting outside, in the vehicle, like in the shade on there, and then we left a couple in the vehicle. And we're looking at it, we're like, I think we'll be okay, or it'll be hard to keep it cold because, we're might run out of ice or whatever. So like, we should be fine. This is lots.
Yeah, so we had 11 cases at the table, 3 in the vehicle that stayed there for the entire show. Not because we couldn't have used them. It's because we could have never left our table.
Correct. So from when they opened, so they had a VIP ticket from 5 that started at 5. So from 5 to 6, if you had a VIP ticket, you got it an hour early. Yeah. And then from 6 till in our area 8 was everybody else.
It was supposed to be 6 to 7:30.
Well, 6 to 7:45. They said to stop pouring by 7:45 or whatever, but they went right to the end.
we actually poured almost till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
so the reason for that is because they had this designed in sections so that you're supposed to go from one area, walk to the other, so you can. Yeah. You're supposed to have a beer and go and explore the animals, explore the next one, right? People wouldn't leave. Or if they did, I don't know. I couldn't tell.
So before
it was
the show started,
steady stream of people. It was zero. There was like nonstop. It wasn't like, oh hey, we'll stand here and chat for a second. It was like, no, you're pouring a beer, you look up and you pour in the next beer, and you look up, you're pouring the next beer. Like you're just asking what the next person wants. There was one time, and it was the shortest time, or the shortest I saw the line, and I looked up. There's 2 people. I was pouring a person. Steve started pouring the other person, and I thought there'd be a break. I pour the thing. I look up, and there are like 20 people in line.
Yeah, like literally a flock of them had just come in, and then So before the show started, like we set up and we get the ice and all that kind of stuff going, and we're trying to help the Hard Knocks guy get his rolly stand set up, and it's not working. He's got an old style of rolly thing, and it wasn't sticking at all, that kind of stuff. And so we're sharing beers and we're talking. Like the new people beside us, the new distillery, they had a Sea Hawthorne gin.
Sea Buckthorn.
Sea Buckthorn, there we go. RTD, or ready to drink. And that was really good. Like that was such a good beer. And we're just talking with them, and they're like, have you ever done a ZooBrew? And we're like, yeah, we've never done a ZooBrew. Like we got invited and that sort of thing. And they're like, oh yeah, have you done the Jasper one? We're like, oh yeah, we've done the Jasper one. They're like, okay, then you kind of know what's going to happen.
Apparently not.
The other tables, so like the Hard Knocks only had the one person there. They only had the one person at the table, and he was supposed to finish there, and then he had a second session on the other side of the park. He was running from like 8:30 to 11 at like near the tiger enclosure or something like that. And same with, I think, Bow River Brewing had 2. But for us, like, we're like, yeah, like, we've done a Jasper show. Like, we should be fine. Like, we brought so much beer. Like, we'll be fine. And we were not fine.
Well, but the thing is, you're not thinking it's not just us bringing beer. It's also other vendors.
Mm-hmm.
So in our section that we just mentioned with the 4 of us, so us, New, Hard Knocks, and Bow Valley, we all ran out of beer in our section.
Yeah.
By
Well, I mean,
8
you
o'clock,
guys,
sold.
11 cases in 3 hours is a lot, right?
That's insane. So it's not only we brought 11 cases, Hard Knocks brought like 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9. And
I don't know how much Bow River brought, and New also brought, like, I can't remember how many they said, but they had quite a few as well that they went through.
Well, and they had bottles. Like, they had bottles and were mixing. They had some mixes and that kind of
That's
stuff
right.
they were doing. So he went through, like, I think he said 4 bottles and like 5 cases of product.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, like, so.
And
So
by the
anyways,
way, about the bottles, the rule was half-ounce pours for those.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so to go through four bottles at half ounces each, right? So that's 56.
Yeah,
That's
it was
56
like 3 or
servings
4.
in a 56 servings in a bottle times 5, right? 250 servings. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it was 3 or 4 bottles, but like, so like, again, we're talking and all that, and we're just talking with the breweries and all that. It's like, oh yeah, we got, and like, we were showing off our new Goza. We've like, hey, here have some of our Goza, and we're having this. What do we have from Hard Knocks? A rhubarb,
Raspberry rhubarb.
yeah, that was a very good beer.
Nice. Yeah.
It was really, really nice. So again, we take it back to our table. We see people starting to come in. We're like, okay, it's time to serve. Put that beer down, and I didn't touch it for 2.5 hours.
So got
I had the same thing. It
Warm
was like
and
half beer. It was a warm half beer, but it was delicious.
Actually, the rhubarb flavor came out even stronger when it was warm.
well, of course, yeah. Like,
So initially I thought, well, maybe it's just because maybe we were like at the start of this circuit, so maybe people were getting their fill here. Balzac Brewing was also there, and we happened to be messaging each other on Instagram for a little bit during the show, or before the show, but I couldn't message them during because I was so busy. They said they also ran out, and they were farther down, like in another section, same time, but farther down. So it's just like, it was almost like a clear cutting event. Where
no,
people are just going
it's
like
the
a
water
stampede
shortage.
of people
Everybody
just go
needs
through and
something to
just
drink,
like,
so
as they go through, there's just a drought that follows them.
Yeah. So anyways, like, yeah, the first person was like 5:05 or 5:10 comes down, because again, they got to walk from like the beginning of the Canadian wilds to the past the polar bear enclosure. So it takes them a little while to wander down, sort of thing. That's fine. But yeah, like, once we started, we didn't stop, and then like we then realized, like, crap, like we didn't think about, because like we left a lot of the cardboard back in my garage, so he's like, oh, we don't have anywhere to put the empties. So, well, they started ending up on the table, and then we ran out of space on the table, so we made a pile behind us. So there was no space on the table, and there was a small mountain of cans.
Yeah, we didn't have time to be nice about it. We're just like, if it was empty, we're just like throwing it behind us.
Yeah, and like we had the, like, and we updated the sign, just like, hey, it's a free pour or whatever, that's fine. And it's like, we have 5 tasty beers, or 5 delicious beers I put on the sign. Eventually we basically had to like take what we had in like the warm, the semi-warm in the shade stock, put it into the containers to try and like keep it cold. So like when Rob would do it, Rob's like, warm beers right side of red.
Yeah, the warmer ones are on the new ones. The warmer ones are on the right side, and the cold
on
ones
the
are
right
still
side.
on the
So
left.
it's like pull from left. Okay, and like we managed to slightly keep up that way, but then like I was starting to lose beers on the table because I crack one open, pour like 3 times, put it down for a sec, but then someone would ask for it again, and I'd lose it in all the cans I had on my side. Yeah. Like it was amazing. And then like people would come up and be like, oh, I want to, the Tears peach Kolsch. And it's like, Rob, you got any? No, do you see if you have it? No, check. Oh, it's actually gone. So like pick it up and just like literally toss it behind us and be like, we're down to 4. And eventually like we were down to I think it was our last 3 cans of. We had like 1 of Missing Piece, 2 of Friends Night Out, and the line still had 30 people in it. And I said to them, I'm like, I've got enough to serve like 10 to 12 people. Like those at the back, you need to go to the next area. Like, I'm sorry, like we literally cannot serve you.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay.
Yeah, you can't stay here. And and then we talked to the Hard Knocks guy again right after because he was about to get picked up and moved to the next area. He's like, the line for your guys' table was behind my booth.
Yeah, it's not from a lack of trying to keep it going. Like, it was just
like we were
insane.
Again. You know, we've done lots of Beerfest, and it's the same Beerfest mug, so we're really good at pouring that. But we couldn't keep up. So like for almost 3 hours, we were flat out, and then they were gone. And then we're just looking behind us, and it's like, again, small pile of cans. The table is covered, and it's like, oh my god, like what do we do?
Yeah, I enjoyed your Instagram post for that. That was.
Oh yeah, the picture of the mountain of empties.
The mountain of empties, and just the Steve going, what? What just happened?
Yeah. So yeah, that was 11 cases, 264 beers, gone, like just gone.
Yeah, it actually took us a while to pack up and leave. Like we were just standing there, like kind of like just soaking it all in. We're like, what just happened? And by that time, everyone else was gone. Like the other vendors all had packed up and took off. Yeah, we're like, what happened here, Steve?
Yeah, we had to ask the staff for a garbage bag because they're like, we didn't anticipate this. So like, thankfully they very quickly went off and grabbed one and came back. But like, it was one of those extra large garbage bags that go into their like the various waste container receptacles around the park. Yeah. We had one of those, and that again had 250-ish cans in it. So, yeah.
Wow. It sounds exciting. Sorry I couldn't join you guys there. I did have to see the Stamps win. Finally, we won a home game. Just took us an extra season.
Which is nice. Which is nice for the boys. But yeah, the afterwards, like we came back to my place, we unloaded everything because I was going up to the shop the next day, and me and Rob just had like a decompression beer on my deck because we were just like, I need a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we took because Hard Knocks moved on. We took all their empties and that, so we're like, yeah, we'll have that, and we got a little bit of tradesies as well. So yeah, it worked out. Actually, I'm drinking right now his India Pale Ale. So
I did enjoy that one. I took a couple from the shop.
Yeah,
it's quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out too that the staff, like, it was really weird. The staff don't get a chance to have anything. So with the ones that we ended up we couldn't recover from the car because we couldn't get away from, we actually gave some of those to the staff just as a thank you for.
Yeah, what we had left in the vehicle, essentially, we're just like, it's already been quote unquote donated and all that kind of stuff. It's out of our stock, so here you go. Really showed up those Wild Rose people because they dropped off like a single 4-pack, and then we dropped off a case. So we're like, man, those cheap bastards at Wild Rose.
Oh, playing hard for that zoo contract, boys.
Yeah. So then we get back to the vehicle and we're like kind of breaking down everything. Like, okay, this here. And we're like, we still have a case left. Like, fuck it. So we took another case over to them. It's like, here you go. Here's another case. Share it amongst the staff, sort of thing. So we got a lot of brownie points that way.
Perfect. So do it again next year?
Oh, yeah. Yes, but with 3 people. Yeah. It's not yeah, maybe.
Probably keg and jockey box would probably be better because then you're not spending time opening cans
and stuff like that.
Yeah. That way you can just pour. Just pour.
Yeah. Like we get, every once in a while you get like a moment like that you're pouring the next beer and you're talking to someone else you've just served and you're able to like, oh, what's this and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like you need another set of hands minimum. The food was good after though. We had chips, kettle chips with kettle potatoes with they had like a lime crema or something like that. It was really good.
It was delicious.
I really wish there was more to the park, but for us, it's like you're done, get out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that I agree. I'm done. I want to go.
And give us your lanyards back. Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't able to keep our lanyards. We had to wear the lanyards to get in, and then when we were done, they're like, lanyards back, and I was like, aw, we don't get to keep it as a memento. And they're like, no. But yeah, no, I definitely do it again. Like we had a really good reception with the beers. Like people really liked. Like the Goza had another good debut, and the like the peach. I think the peach Kolsch was the first one gone. I'm trying to remember.
Yes, the order was the peach Kolsch disappeared shortly after the watermelon Goza, and then Kiss, and then Missing Piece and Friends Night Out were at the same time. We were pouring the last ones at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then I had the one can because it's the warm can, and I had it in my ice bucket, and I had to wait till it was cold enough because it was standing in the sun. It was a warm beer, so I waited till it was cold enough, and then like again that last rush of people, I was like, I've got 4 pours of this. Who wants them? Bang, 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 bang. Done. Can's done again. But yeah, it was for a good cause. Like again, 1,500 people at $100 a person. Like that's a fairly sizable fundraiser for the zoo.
Yep. So who'd have thought the zoo is full of thirsty animals?
Weird. Yeah, they just wouldn't stop coming.
Good stuff.
But yeah, no, definitely. Like again, the 14 or so cases we donated plus the entry fee. Like, hopefully it leads to a pickup in sales and all that, and a little bit of advertising. But at the end of the day, like that kind of donation to the zoo, especially since like I know you and me, Brendan, use it a lot. Like that's fair for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's actually it's a great zoo.
Oh yeah. Compared to a lot of the other ones I've been to, pretty cool. Except for Arizona. Arizona is full of deadly snakes and reptiles.
Right.
Anyway, if there was anybody that was at the ZooBrew event that wants to tell us what they thought of our beer or wants to order some beer, or if there's anybody that works for the Calgary Zoo and is looking to replace Wild Rose for their beer contract, how could they get a hold of us, Rob?
Or if you're our stalker friend.
Sorry, stalker friend?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. The same guy who was at Jasper and the Calgary show was also at the ZooBrew. So recognize him. So because it's like just bugging him because he seems to be everywhere we are. Anyhow, but if you want to get a hold of us, you can go to our website at solutionsbrewing.com. Go ahead and smash the contact us button. Send us an email. noproblems@solutionsbrewing.ca, or hit us up on Instagram and Facebook at Solutions Brewing Co.
Oh, you know what other animal was there, Brendan? Your brother.
Yeah, Jonathan and his girlfriend were there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know they were going when we had, because it was Jonathan's birthday on the 8th. Mm-hmm. So we were at his house, and he was supposed to have football tickets, but he canceled. I assumed he was with his girlfriend, which he was.
Yes.
Did not know they were going to ZooBrew, so that was an interesting thing I learned on the next day. So
yeah, he had one beer, and I told him because he was special, he could bypass the line, and then he just went down the road like everyone else was supposed to. He followed the rules and the directions. So
well, it's also he's had all our beer.
Yeah,
he went to go find something new.
I was gonna say, yeah, the only one he probably hasn't had is the Goza. That's about it. So. Well, in its current form, at least.
In its current form, yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, folks, our next one is we will be in Olds on June 22nd.
Yep.
So, less than 2 weeks.
That's right. So hopefully we'll see you there. Until then, talk to you next time.
Take care.